Hoy hoy, he's Straw, he's Parker, and together we are the Battlehammer. Today I'm going to do a little something different. Just me, obviously lockdown's going on, so no toy soldier gaming and stuff. But I just wanted to show you some miniatures from various lines and just explain the importance of posing. Specifically, this guy. He made me think about it recently because he just arrived in my hands. He is Virgil Earp from Wild West Exodus by Warcradle Studios, and I just thought he's really cool. The old model was slightly different. This is a re-sculpt of an older Virgil Earp model from Wild West Exodus. It's the same detailing, but in a different pose. In the old pose, he was holding his rifle in one arm and kind of pointing it at someone. It looked a bit weird, and so they reposed him for the new box, the new Meat Grinder Posse box. And I just thought he looks really cool now, and it made me think about how posing in models can be really important. So many model games, especially the rank and file ones where there's just dudes standing there, they can look a little bit boring and a little bit blah and a little bit the same as everyone else. They've got a foot on a tactical rock, or they're just waving a thing in the air or pointing at someone. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't. It just makes them look weird. And obviously it's hard to pose someone in a combat environment. One thing that Warcradle and other miniatures companies do is they've done poses that are not like middle of combat poses, but poses that make them look natural. And this guy, Virgil Earp, just looks really cool. Arguably, he's just standing there, right? He's standing there holding his rifle, okay? But there's a couple of subtle little things that really add to it. The way he's holding his rifle, kind of pointed down, his head tilted ever so slightly forward, kind of staring, with the collar pulled up, it gives him kind of a look of almost mysteriousness. The coat blowing from behind him gives him a sense of standing stoically while the elements buffet him. And actually that fits really well with his story, because he, in the narrative of Wild West Exodus, Virgil Earp, when Morgan was shot in the back, rather than Morgan dying, Virgil took Morgan to the Enlightened to get him fixed up. And now he owes the Enlightened, so he's often doing little jobs for them that he doesn't want to do, like bodyguarding Kyle the Black and stuff like that. Excuse me. So I think that sense of, he's got a job to do and he's going to do it, and the world's going to attack him and blow his coat around, but he's just going to grit his teeth and go through it. He's a measured man. He's not pointing his gun already because he's just going to take it. He's going to do it. He's a man who thinks before he acts. He's a man who kind of doesn't, he's not like a violent, angry man. And I know it's hard to explain, and the collar pulled up kind of gives him a sense of keeping a secret that he doesn't want to tell anyone, that he's not proud of. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that kind of got me thinking, and I started looking at some other models and thought, wow, those poses just describe the character. I thought that was really cool, and I think that so many companies just have random dudes standing there, but if you can get a pose right, it really adds a lot to the sculpt of a mini. So that's Virgil Earp from Wild West Exodus. I'll just show you a couple more. So, speaking of tactical rocks and pointing, here we have Hannibal. He is from Aristea. He's got his foot on a little hex plinthy thing and he's pointing at someone. But actually, that's exactly his character. So Hannibal in Aristea. Aristea is a kind of a sports game. It's kind of like, I don't know, like Gladiators, I guess. But he's a support character. He amplifies the abilities of people around him. He gives them bonuses to shooting. He can spend his cards on them to do other things. When other people are within range of him, they get bonuses, he gets bonuses. And he's properly like the leader of a team, like a mercenary team, if you like. So him pointing totally makes sense. His kind of gun tucked out of the way in his elbow, pointing upwards while he looks in a different direction, feels totally within character for him. So that's really cool. And yes, he's got his foot on a tactical rock, but it just kind of adds a little something, gives him a bit of movement where there wasn't any before. So it's just an argument of why the pose makes sense, really. Got another model here. This guy is a mad scientist from Crooked Dice, who do 7TV. And he is one of the only models of these that are painted. I guess these are just the ones that were nearby and I picked up. So yeah, he's got his little white coat, he's got his big mad scientist hair, he's got his little green blobby thing, which is like a creation that he's made, something he's designed, whether it be genetically or mechanically or whatever, or a little alien thing or whatever, his little pet. But his shoulders are hunched over a little bit, he's kind of leaning forward, clutching this thing, this pride and joy of his. His little glasses, and also the little details make it really nice. The little gloves in his pocket, and the little blueprints in his other pocket. They're just really cool things. But his leaning forward, his kind of coveting his little precious, and his kind of hunched shoulders just give him that mad scientist vibe, which I really like. We've got another one. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this because it's a metal model. It might be too shiny. I don't know. This is an administrator from 7TV, and he's one of the minions. So, obviously not the TV show film Minions, but an actual like the minions, as in they are armed guards or whatever for a evil bad guy, an evil mastermind or something like that, right? And they all wear these big overalls, and he's an administrator version of those dudes. And I just like, he's got his little briefcase, which has obviously got something important in it. And he's got his little, what do you call that? Do you call that? Clipboard, thank you, me. He's got his little clipboard, he's clutching it, he's kind of hurrying along somewhere. And that just gives him that kind of, I'm an administrator, I need to do some paperwork or whatever. He's off to administrate things. He doesn't look too actiony. He's slightly hunched in the shoulders a little bit, like he's kind of not quite cowardly, but maybe a bit meek. So I really like that guy. All the other minions are fine. They're pointing and they're shooting guns and stuff. They're supposed to be generic, and a lot of these. I would never argue that every model should have a wonderful, glorious pose. But I just think that when it works really well. Most of these are going to be from War Cradle, because I just think War Cradle do a really good job of posing dudes. Here, we've got a sniper dude. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's not Ignatius Nero, he's the other one. Oh well, sniper dude, smoking a little pipe, and he's leaning on this whatever it is, like a bit of rubble or something like that, or a bit of an old building, and he's just sitting there, looking down the barrel of his gun, getting ready, and he looks so relaxed, like I could see him on the top of a building, just waiting, for a good couple of hours, just for the right moment to shoot. And I thought, at first I really wasn't sure, and then the more I looked at him, the more I really liked him. And it's just something, yes, there's a little bit of a weird base, which some people will like and some people won't. That's just the way it is. But you're never going to be, unless you're making a diorama, you're never going to get the perfect mini in the perfect pose. And I used to like the more generic-y type things, like Space Marines, who would just all look like Space Marines. Actually, the more, kind of as I'm appreciating more that the sculpt can have to offer, it just makes me think, yeah, why not? You know, yes, he's going to look out of place in hand-to-hand combat, but who cares? He looks really cool, right? Just a cool little mini. Another Wild West. This is one of my actual my properly favourites. I love this guy. This is Faraday. He is a automata who has kind of gained consciousness, and you know, I don't know. He was like just a generic robot, and now he's a robot with personality. And I love his little jaunty walk, and the fact that he's smoking a cigar. He's a robot. What was he smoking a cigar for? It doesn't matter. It's just a little idiosyncrasy, you know. And because he's a very good gunman, he's got like 2 fingers resting on his gun there, which I really like, just to give him that kind of like, yeah, don't mess with me, or I'll pop a cap. And I just think he looks really, really cool. You know, I can hear his little walk, and I can kind of hear ding, 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 as he strolls into the saloon. Cracking model, you know, really simple. There's not loads of superfluous detail, but the pose is just great. Really, really like it. That's Faraday from the Deadly 7. Get them right the way around. Here we've got an example of another Aristeia model. He just looks really simple, right? He's just stood there, you know, chest out, kind of almost, the armour looks very much like something like a beefed up version of something out of Halo, you know, that big chest piece. But he is the game's tank. In Aristeia, he's got more hit points than anyone else, he's got higher defence than anyone else, he's got this big shield, which you could have had in front of him, but I kind of like that he doesn't, because he's not scared. You know, if he had the shield in front of him, that would be like the shield would define him. But the shield doesn't define him. He defines himself. He just happens to have a shield. And it's that kind of chest puffed out, I'm the hero, I'm the man, you know, I am indomitable. And that could have looked a bit blah and a bit meh. But actually on Maximus, it just looks really cool, you know. He's just willing to take everything. And also, I know it sounds like a little thing, but his haircut. Obviously that's not part of the pose, that's part of the sculpt, part of the detail. But he's got this kind of, I don't know, this kind of everyman kind of, I don't know, side parting that just looks like Captain Genericus, you know, with that side parting. But that's the point, you know, he's just a man who just happens to stand in the way of the bullets, you know. It kind of makes him slightly more normal rather than have given him a crew cut or something like that, you know. Kind of makes him a bit nerdy almost, a bit of a straight-laced, you know. That's Maximus from Aristeia. Here we have, I can't remember her name either now. I want to say Jenna Salto, but I don't know if that's right. Probably not. She's from the Only God Forgives box, Wild West Exodus, War Cradle Studios, and you can probably tell what she is an homage to just by the pose and the little poncho detail. You know, any similarities to people living or dead are purely coincidental, obviously, but there's definitely a gal with no name vibe to her. You know, she's throwing that poncho aside, got a hand resting on her gun, like just daring you to draw first. You know, the hat's relatively flat, but there's a nice curve to it, to the brim, I mean, which is really nice. I think some hats can just look too flat, but she looks really cool with her poncho pulled to one side. You know, and her hips slightly resting on one leg. Just, you know, full of nonchalance and understated cool. So that's Jenna. I think it's Jenna Salto. Don't really need to see the back, but you know, it's the poncho. Yeah. And also, like, her hair's up, and that's a little thing, but she's got her hair tied into a bun at the back. Just, you know, she means business. She doesn't want long hair getting in the way. You know, she's more about just practicality. Yeah. So there we go. There's one. I've got two more to show you. It's just a little quick video. I just thought I'll put it up and see what people think. If people want more of this kind of thing, I'm not going to analyse every single model or whatever, but you know, just a bit of a chat about various aspects of gaming and whatnot. Here we have got James McClane, the Masked Marshal, from the new what's it called? Dead or Alive box from Wobber Sextus. Mid-draw, mid-pistol draw. Now, certain people will recognise this pose. The bent knees, the hat to one side, the draw, the kind of arm resting out. Certain people will recognise that and certain people won't. And I'm not judging you if you do or don't recognise it. But I recognise it, and it's a great homage to an old comic book. I say comic book. I guess it's a comic book. I mean, are they graphic novels? Comic books? I don't know. But just really cool. And you don't often see these models in mid gunfighter pose, which is really nice. I think you could do a really nice... actually, I don't have it to hand. There's another model by Warcradle of Johnny Ringo, and he's actually mid-draw. He's just thrown his coat back, and he's kind of just like hands on guns, just about to draw. And I think it'd be nice to do a little, what's the word? A little diorama with these two facing off against each other. One's just half draw, and he's just blam, just beaten to the post. I mean, he's really cool, right? Hashtag not Lucky Luke for legal reasons. But really, really cool. Like him a lot. And lastly, this is partly about pose and partly just about model construction. This is Lilith Hart, also from the Dead or Alive box. As you can see, she's got a jetpack that looks, I wouldn't say familiar, but yeah, kind of almost looks like, you know, that's how she wears her jetpack. This is the way. Almost a little Mandalorianishness. Apart from that, not so much, but you know, cool. And it's just the way her jetpack, so she's attached to a jetpack by her back, obviously, but on the kind of the smoke and the fire that's coming out of it, she's got a foot attached just there. How well you can see that on the camera, I don't know, but a foot just kind of sticks onto the smoke, and it just gives her a certain amount of, like, not flexibility, the opposite of stability. And I really like that it's this action pose. She's kind of mid-flight, but she's also stable as far as gaming piece model goes. You know, some models can look great, but actually be like almost stupid and pointless to play with. And you think, well, you know, I'm not naming any names, but like standing on one toe, that kind of thing. And it's just like, well, that's great, but I'm going to drop that, or I'm going to put it in my bag and break it, or whatever. They are gaming pieces, you know. It's fine if you're doing like a 57mm display model, that's great. But, you know, these are gaming pieces. And that's important that they have stability and strength to them. And besides that, she looks really cool. I mean, there's a real nice sense of motion with that kind of... that's it really. I just wanted a quick little video just to give you an idea of some of the models that I've been looking at. You know what, just one more while I've got him here. Again, I don't know how well it's going to come up because he's a metal model. Shiny. He is a criminal dude, criminal boss, I think he is, from Crooked Dice. And it's just, he's got his little hat on, reaching into his pocket to get some money, or is he putting something away? Or has he got some plans in there with a little cigarette? It's just a really nice little, you know, he just feels like a shifty guy, you know, a wheeler dealer. And I just think that posing can be everything in models, and it can mean a surprising amount to how you feel about your little dudes on the table. And actually, I don't know, yeah, the details are great. You know, everyone wants like nicely detailed miniatures and everything else, but actually I think posing can be as important, if not more important than that, and really gives a sense of character to a model. So let us know in the comments down below if there are any models that you really like, that kind of get you going, as it were, and you think, oh man, that pose, that dude. Even leave a link if you know, if you've got pictures of it or something like that. I'd be really interested to see your thoughts on not just War Cradle models, not just the ranges I've shown here. These are just the ones that were nearby, and while I was thinking about doing the video, popped into my mind. If you like it, let us know. If you don't like it and you never want to see this sort of thing on the channel, that's fine as well. Let us know about that. Lockdown is still happening, and we don't really know what's going to go on. So the Battlehammer are just trying out a few little different things and seeing what sticks. Let us know in the comments down below. If you want to help out the channel, you can. There's a Patreon link. There are various other ways you can help out, all in the doobly-doo. Amazon wishlist, affiliate links. You can get merch from What's Dumb Games. Most importantly though, the number one thing you can do is don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked it and want to subscribe. If you don't like it and don't want to subscribe, you don't have to like and subscribe, but we would like it if you liked and subscribed. And until next time, stay hammered. Do 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 do.